The chosen one. Listen closely, because what you're going to hear is critical. This communication did not come to you by chance. This is not a coincidence. It is not the algorithm. This is divine intervention. God summoned you here. The timing is exact. The purpose is holy, and the outcome will be unforgettable. You may have already felt something stirring in your chest. That inner tug, that unmistakable burning. That is confirmation. Your soul understands that this message is not simply another video. It's a spiritual breakthrough in disguise. You're about to experience the most significant change of your life. What you have been waiting for, praying for, I'm dreaming of, is no longer far distant. It is here. It is moving. It is activating. But here, this message will disappear shortly. This moment is limited. Heaven has opened a small window into your life. And if you scroll past, it might take a long time until it reopens. This is not fear. The situation is urgent. Only the chosen ones will feel this sense of urgency in their bones. Before we continue, I'd like to express my gratitude to everyone who has supported this project. Your gift does more than only help our message reach more people. It's being part of the same wave of breakthrough that others are riding in a purpose, whether you've given previously or are thinking about doing so now. Please know that we are profoundly thankful. Even if you never contribute a cent, your being here is important. You're adored. You have been spotted. You are really valuable. Now, return to the present time. You're not only looking to be inspired, you are here to become active. And you must act quickly. What you're going to receive will alter your reality on a level beyond rationality. You're stepping into harmony with divine timing. The wait is ended. You're no longer in the season of someday. You are now in the season of now, and everything is rushing at you. Favor, clarity, purpose, connections, and opportunity at an exhilarating pace. This isn't a motivating speech. This is a prophetic download. And if you are genuinely one of God's chosen ones, you will feel it in your soul right now like a wave. Comment 999 below to confirm your alignment. This is not a random number. It symbolizes fulfillment, spiritual enlightenment, and heavenly passage. It's a signal to the skies, indicating that you're here, prepared, and totally engaged. But heed this caution. If you're not aligned, you may not be able to finish this message. That is how stark the spiritual divide is getting. Some may scroll away, never realizing what they missed. But if you're still reading and watching, you're intended to get this. What happens next might alter everything. So do not blink. Do not hesitate. The clock is ticking. This is your opportunity to shine, and heaven is watching what you do with it. Let we begin. God's chosen ones. You have one day to hear what God is saying. You've chosen one. Could you sense it? The calm of your spirit. The holy quiet that falls as something sacred is about to occur. You aren't simply seeing a message right now. You're walking into a heavenly appointment, created before time started. Everything around you may appear typical, but what's going on inside you is not. The world's diversions fade into the background as heaven calls your name. This message is not only timely, it is divinely timed. God, in all his majesty, has waited until this precise second to speak directly to your soul. Why? Because he knows you are ready. But you only have one day, one precious window to answer to the chosen one. What you do now will have long-term consequences. Have you ever pondered why certain words resonate more deeply than others? Why? Some communications seem tailor-made for you. Because they were. This is the whisper you're hearing in your heart right now. And it's not your imagination. It is your Creator. The sense of urgency you're experiencing is not caused by dread. It's an alignment. The door in front of you is open, but it won't stay open for long. God is saying, now is the time. Listen, act, move. If you hear his voice now, it's just like Hebrews 3:15. Do not harden your heart. So let me ask you, are you listening with your heart or with just your ears? God does not speak arbitrarily. He does not waste words. When he talks, he creates, heals, and wakes. You were guided here for more than just inspiration. You have been guided here for instruction. Divine instructions and God's commands carry the weight of transformation. Consider Jonah's appeal to Nineveh. However, he delayed. The delay nearly cost him everything. Or consider Harriet Tubman, who stated, "I always told God I'm going to hold steady on you, and you must see me through." She followed divine whispering and freed hundreds. Her obedience altered history. How will yours change? The chosen one. Look back on your life. Every heartache, every lonely night, every quiet tear. It was not punishment. It was a preparation. Prepare for this moment. Isaiah 43 verse 2 indicates that when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Not if, but when. And you've been through them. Fires of treachery, floods of terror, deserts of waiting. You did not drown. You did not burn. You became stronger. And now you are on the verge of destiny. This isn't a motivating speech. This is a heavenly edict. Heaven is making a pronouncement about your life. Perhaps you're wondering, why me? Why now? But who has chosen one? Why not you out of billions of souls? You've been summoned to this time, which causes an agony in your spirit. It's not unrest. It is recognition. Your spirit has been identified as the voice of its creator. Jeremiah 1 verse 5 reminds us, "Before I produced you in the womb, I knew you existed. I set you aside." Yes, you were set aside. You aren't simply another soul traveling the world. You were tagged, sealed, and shipped. Let's discuss timing. Consider if Martin Luther King Jr. delayed his call. What if Esther delayed when the Jews needed her to speak out? Esther is mentioned in Scripture, 4:14. And who knows, perhaps you've risen to your regal position for this occasion. And, darling, you have also come to this moment for this reason. Can you sense the truth in your bones? Can you perceive your own gravity? Yes. Everything that attempted to draw you away from this message. The notifications, noise, and doubts were the enemy's attempt to distract you because he knows something you're only now realizing. When you understand what God is truly saying, you become unstoppable. So, in this silence, ask yourself, will you heed the nudge? Will you ignore the whisper and miss the wave? Your breakthrough is not far away. It's only on the other side of obedience. Think of Tyler Perry, who was once destitute, mocked, and rejected. But he continued to show up for the vision God had given him. He obeyed the whisper. Now his name rings with legacy. Your legacy begins now. You've already felt the anguish. Why not walk into the reward? Galatians 6 verse 9 reads, "Let us not become weary in doing good. If we do not give up, we shall reap a crop when the time comes." The chosen one. You did not give up. You kept going. And now, heaven is preparing to unleash what has been reserved for your fidelity. So, how many times have you felt like quitting up? Nonetheless, something unseen kept you clinging on. How many sleepless nights did you spend whispering, "God, I'm not sure how, but I trust you." You weren't simply surviving. You were being honed. And now you're prepared. You're present in the moment. Everything was preparing you for this. Only one thing left. What is your response? Don't let uncertainty deprive you. Do not let fear stop you. Every second matters. You, like the Israelites, risk missing out on the promised land due to delayed compliance. What's on the other end of this message? If you ignore the call, will you keep your pledge or go in circles? This is the hour of decision. You have been tested and you have passed. God noticed that you remained faithful even while no one was looking. He witnessed your loyalty, tears, and quiet prayers. And now, as in Matthew 25:23, he says, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter the delight of your Lord." It's time to emerge from the ashes. It's time to embrace the abundance that heaven has in store for you. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Abused and rejected. Fired. However, they were picked. She listened when her soul informed her, "There is more." And she responded. What if you're the next voice the world is looking for? What if your obedience brings healing not just to you, but also to the chosen one? This is your one-day warning. Your soul understands that this is not simply another video. This is your heavenly wake-up call. Say yes. Today has the potential to change the course of your life for the next 10 years. Are you prepared to go through the door? God is waiting for you, the chosen one. How many times have you sat in quiet, wondering whether anybody truly grasped the depths of your being? You felt excluded, misunderstood, and alone in a throng. And in the darkness, you began to wonder, am I forgotten? Am I invisible? But listen closely. Your seclusion was not abandonment. It was incubation. God had you for a reason. You were too important to be exposed prematurely. What seemed like rejection was actually divine protection. He was not punishing you. He was prepared. You think of David before he became king. He was secluded in the fields, shepherding sheep while his brothers were fated. However, it was in solitude that he formed the heart of a warrior. Psalm 18 states that the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in soul and cherished. That was you. But now the isolation gates have opened, and the holy light of understanding is flooding your way. God is saying, no more hiding and waiting. You're ready now. Have you ever wondered why I survived all of that pain? Why are you still standing while others have dropped after considerably less? It's because you were picked to succeed, chosen to provide light during the darkest seasons. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in seclusion before emerging as a beacon of peace and leadership. Your years of stillness are going to resound with purpose. The world that previously overlooked you is going to see your awakening. God is not only calling you out of solitude, He is putting the appropriate people, doors, and answers in your way. What was before confusing is now becoming clear. Isaiah 42:16 verifies this. I will lead the blind in ways they have never known. I shall direct them along unexpected pathways. And right now, sweetheart, that promise is taking effect in your life. You are following divine guidance. No more straying or questioning. Just a brave spirit-led steps toward destiny. Allow me to ask you something. What if the individuals you believed were holding you back were actually only placeholders? What if their absence now creates space for your future connections? God is about to match you with people who recognize your worth, who share your spiritual vibration, and have been assigned to assist you in building upon what heaven has revealed you. You will no longer travel this route alone. Consider Oprah Winfrey, who grew up with poverty, abuse, and racial hurdles. However, in her alone, she developed vision and faith. She once stated that the entire goal of being alive is to grow into the full person you were meant to be. And that is exactly what you're doing now. You are changing. This breakthrough moment marks the start of your divine blossoming. And what does God give you initially when you emerge from the shadows? Direction. Clear. Divine. Unmistakable direction. Proverbs 3 verses 5-6 tells us to trust the Lord with all of our hearts and not rely on our own knowledge. In all of your methods, submit to Him, and He will straighten your ways. That poem is not theory. Where you once wavered, today it is your reality. You will now walk firmly where you previously questioned. You will now receive responses from your spirit. God is about to direct your relationships, showing who is destined to stay and who must go. He is going to breathe clarity into your money, revealing you where to seed, what to pursue, and which doors to close, as well as your purpose. He is about to reveal the exact next and subsequent steps. This is not intuition. This is spiritual training. You may be asking how I will know it's Him speaking. That is the beauty of heavenly clarity. You will not have to guess. There will be serenity where formerly there was strain. Where there was confusion before, there will now be confirmation. Even in your dreams, your soul will begin to notice the transformation. You will be prompted to make bold and graceful judgments. Just like Elon Musk, who followed his inner compass even when others labeled him insane. You are ready to make actions that others will not comprehend. But that is the mark of the selected. You don't follow reasoning, you follow light. And that light is Christ, who illuminates your journey from the inside out. Psalm 119 verse 105 states that your word is a lamp for my feet, a guiding light on my way. That term is with you right now. Do you recall when you doubted your mission and thought, maybe I'm not meant for greatness after all? That was not your truth. That was a falsehood constructed out of fear. The fact is that each closed door redirected you. Each delay was wonderful. And now the diversions are ended. The bit of paradise is reshaping your life with precision and force. Even in your work, calling, and innermost ambitions. The direction is here. Think about Steve Harvey. He was once destitute, sleeping in his car, yet he continued to trust the simple instructions. Today, he talks honestly about how God directed his path, one confirmation at a time. Your tale may alter, but the idea remains the same. Every heavenly whisper leads to a breakthrough. So I ask you again, what would happen if you completely followed God's counsel beginning today? Imagine waking up every morning knowing that your steps are in order. Your thinking is stable, and your decisions are secure. That life starts today. No more hesitating. No more overthinking. This is what James 1:5 promises. If any among you lacks knowledge, let him seek God, and it will be given to him. This marks the conclusion of the traveling. You will no longer be caught between options from now on. When it is time to make a decision, you will know, you will sense it, you will experience tranquility, and you'll move, because your life is now spirit-led. Fear did not lead. The chosen one. This is your shift. This is a confirmation. This is the route map from heaven. Trust it, follow it, and see what happens next. The fog is dissipating. The way is opening up. And your soul, finally, heavenly guidance has led him home. The chosen one. Pay close attention, for this is the word that will change everything. Abundance. This isn't simply a rosy financial forecast. This is the heavenly assertion of completeness. God sees your anguish. The person who saw you survive season after season is finally speaking. Restore your life. Not only will you be restored financially, but also in terms of energy, joy, relationships, mind, and future. You are not called to barely make it. You're called to overflow. You've spent years trudging through deserts emotionally, spiritually, and financially. The dry season, however, is coming to an end. The opponent attempted to convince you that struggle was normal. However, abundance has always been your heritage. According to Psalm 65:11, God crowns the year with his goodness and makes his ways ooze with riches. Your road isn't desolate. It is blessed. And now you are on that road with fresh confidence. Think about it. How many times have you watched others prosper while silently praying to God? When will it be my turn? What if I told you it was your turn? What if the reason for every blocked door, delay, and moment of doubt was that God was preparing something so big that if he had given it to you sooner, you would not have been prepared? Maturity is required to achieve plenty. It demands structure. That explains why your procedure took so long. Remember the job. After he had lost everything, his family, health, and money, God didn't just restore him. Job 42:10 claims that God granted him twice as much as he had previously. That's double the difficulty. That is not only survival, that is revival. And you've chosen one, which is currently in your own employment chapter. Everything you've lost is going to be returned doubled. But this time, you'll be wise enough to deal with it. Let's become practical. Abundance does not imply a lottery ticket from heaven. It usually appears in hushed murmurs, instructions from God, nudges from the Holy Spirit, doors that open quietly yet lead to large spaces. It begins with alignment. You don't need any more hustle. You need to use greater discretion. The correct idea at the right moment with the right person may alter everything. According to Proverbs 10:22, the Lord's blessing delivers prosperity without requiring terrible toil. This is not about burnout. It's all about breakthroughs. Consider Oprah Winfrey as an example. Her life began with pain, poverty, and rejection, but she found meaning through healing and God's message inside her. She answered yes to her calling when others doubted her, and now she passes on wisdom and abundance to future generations. She not only received abundance, but also distributed it. So will you? Are you willing to be trusted with more? That is the true question. Abundance is more than simply a gift. It is a responsibility. God wants to know if you'll use what He provides you for His purposes, not simply personal comfort, because your excess is not just for you. It's intended to flow over to others. This is why God has been examining your heart, stewardship, and motivations. And now He adds, I trust you. Ephesians 3:20 promises, now to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly over all that we ask or imagine. Let's sink in. What if God's plan exceeds your wildest expectations? The adversary attempted to imprison your mind, making you terrified to dream again. But this richness is not dependent on your performance. It is predicated on your status as His adored. And the influence will not end with you. Consider someone like Tyler Perry, rejected, poor, and homeless. Nonetheless, he continued to believe God. When the world questioned his beliefs, he followed divine guidance. And today, he owns studios, provides employment, mentors, and creates legacies. God raised him not just for prosperity, but also for duty. This is the pattern of kingdom plenty. So, if God granted you every gift you've ever longed for today, do you have the foundation to carry it? Would you have the attitude to handle it? Would you have the faith to safeguard it? Abundance is not simply about receiving. It is all about sustaining. God is providing you with both in this upcoming season. Your financial situation will improve. Doors open. Debts are accrued. Income streams occur from unexpected sources in your health. God will heal the connections that stress and worry have destroyed. Peace will replace the chaos in your head. Clarity will replace heaviness. This is a thorough abundance. This is heaven's imprint on your life. According to Deuteronomy 28:11, the Lord will bless you abundantly in the land He promised your forefathers. That indicates it's not just for you. It is generational. You're going to disrupt long-standing cycles in your lineage. Poverty, fear, and restriction. They cease with you because you refuse to quit, because you continue to believe, because you have been picked. Finally, remember that plenty starts with obedience. Every divine teaching counts. When He says give, speak, even the tiniest ones respond. When He says speak, move. When He says move, abundance will flow via your alignment, not force, not striving, just surrender. So, I've chosen one. Expect more. Prepare your heart, hands, and habits to overflow. The season of not enough has ended. The time for barely existing is over. You are entering God's prepared plenty, and it's already on its way. The chosen one. Lean in and allow these words sink deep into your spirit. You've passed. Yes, you, the one who sobbed silently, who worshipped while being hurt, who remained devoted when it would have been easy to walk away. Heaven has seen every moment, every secret conflict, and every silent act of obedience. And now, God's voice is booming over your life. Not in judgment, but in joy. You've passed. You may not have known it, but each struggle you encountered was more than simply agony. This was a heavenly test, a test of endurance, a test of honesty, a test of your dedication to the calling, even if there was no applause. And, darling, you did not simply scrape by. You got an A+. Galatians 6 verse 9 reads, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, because if we do not give up, we shall reap the crop when the time is right." You did not give up, and now the harvest is upon you. Have you ever questioned why your life felt like a continual test? After a time, your heart broke more than once. Why did people leave you when you needed them the most? Why were your prayers unanswered for so long? The fact is that the tests were never intended to ruin you. It was always about expressing what was already within you. Strength, purity, faith, and divine resilience. Now God is confirming what your spirit has already sensed. You have passed, and your promotion has been triggered. Think about Joseph. His brothers betrayed him, sold into slavery, falsely accused. I was forgotten in prison. Despite everything, he had a pure heart. And when his time came, Pharaoh whisked him from the jail to the palace in one day. Genesis 41:41 contains Pharaoh's statements. I appoint you to rule over all of Egypt. The chosen one, your jail term is over. Now it's time for your promotion. Let's go deeper. This is more than simply a spiritual release. It's a heavenly recommendation. God is openly elevating you. There is nothing your adversaries can do to prevent it. Every room that has before closed its door on you is going to beckon you back. Not because of their change of heart, but because of God's shift in the seasons of your life. This is a wonderful promotion. Think about Viola Davis. She was raised in poverty, ridiculed for her beauty, and neglected by the business for years until the time when her preparation clashed with God's promotion. Today, she is more than simply successful. She speaks out for those who cannot speak for themselves. She refused to let her previous anguish prevent her from fulfilling her purpose. Neither will you. Allow me to ask you something. What if you finally thought you weren't being tested, but rather crowned? That this season is about accepting the bounty God has already granted, rather than proving yourself. Too frequently, we continue to act like students after we have graduated, but have chosen one. God has taken you to a new level. Stop studying for the test. You have already passed. You could be thinking, but I still feel the scars. I still feel feeble. That is okay. So did David. The prophet Samuel anointed him. David did not appear like a king. He still smelled like a sheep. But God does not anoint according to appearance. He anoints depending on the heart. First, Samuel 16:7 declares that the Lord does not see what humans see. The Lord looks into the heart, and yours has passed the test. You remained pure while bitterness attempted to swallow you. You remained faithful when others moved away. You forgave even though vengeance would have felt better. Now, everything is changing. This is more than simply a transient breakthrough. It represents a lasting transformation in your fate. You will no longer engage in the same conflicts. You will no longer ask God for what He freely provides. Doors will open without your having to knock. People who had previously neglected you will now bless you, and your authority will no longer be disguised. It will be undeniable. Consider Tyler Perry. He spent years writing plays. Nobody came to see. He lost money. He slept inside his automobile. He questioned everything, but God had already spoken promotion over him. When the allotted moment arrived, the earth saw what heaven already knew. He was prepared. That's you now. You are equipped not only to accept the benefit, but also to manage, multiply, and direct others back to the one who bestowed it. According to Isaiah 60:22, at the appropriate moment, the Lord will make it happen. You aren't late. You are right on time. Your climb may have been gradual, but it will now be unstoppable. Those who formerly mocked you will marvel. Those who attempted to bury you will witness God uplift you. And you won't have to defend yourself. Your life will speak for itself. So, what would you do today if you knew God had already authorized your next level? Would you walk more confidently? Would you cease explaining yourself to others who do not comprehend your calling? Would you finally be able to breathe now that the pressure is off and the promises are in motion? Chosen one, the waiting period has finished. This is your assigned time. You will ascend not because of yourself, but because of your God. He rewards fidelity. He values resilience. He never forgets His children's screams. Every layer, sacrifice, and restless night was witnessed. And now heaven is standing to applause. The earth is moving to align, and your spirit is ready to completely embrace what you were always meant to bear. Psalm 75:6-7, according to reports. For promotion does not come from the east, west, or south. God, however, is the judge. He takes down one and sets up another. You are the person he is setting up. You are the one that he is lifting. Your promotion is not fragile. It is not a transient situation. It is not subject to human approval. It is divinely sanctioned, eternally safe, and already in action. So walk as if you had passed. Speak as if you've given praise, as if it was already done, because it is the chosen one according to heaven. Allow this truth to settle in your spirit. What you are witnessing right now is more than simply a message. This is a time of divine exchange between heaven and earth. You did not click on this by mistake. You did not come here at random. This is a sacred arrangement that existed before time started. It also holds spiritual significance. This is not simply information. It is the activation process. God is now moving something into your life. Could you sense it? It is a divine download of blessing, knowledge, teaching, and purpose. It's not only for the ears. It's about your destiny. This isn't just words. It is movement. This is God's unseen hand placing what you've been praying for in your spirit. Sometimes we don't even realize it. Think of it as a miraculous wire transfer. However, instead of money, God sends you strategy, insight, calm, and power. He's answering prayers you haven't even said yet. But, like every transfer, there's one requirement. You must be positioned to receive. Is your hand open? Is your heart ready? James 1:17 reminds us that every good and perfect gift comes from above, coming from the Father of the heavenly lights. Right now, those excellent and beautiful things are being put in your life. However, this is a special occasion. Chosen one, not something to take lightly or skim past. Heaven is leaning towards you. The Holy Spirit is hovering. The divine invites you to react. Allow me to ask you, what if this moment is about empowerment rather than encouragement? What if this is the spiritual transaction that transforms your life? You've been asking for clarification, confirmation, and timeliness. God listened, and now he responds with teaching and impartation. This is not a time for amusement. This is a moment of perpetual alignment. Think about Moses and the flaming bush. He assumed he was simply going through the bush like any other day. But in a single moment, God implanted a full calling in his spirit. Exodus 10 recordings. God's words. So go. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to get my people out of Egypt. Just like Moses, your life is going to transition from ordinary to amazing. Not because you want power, but because you reacted to purpose. You felt this stirring inside you, haven't you? That want for more, that deep, silent hunger that no job, love, or success could fulfill was heavenly. God's voice was inviting you to go deeper. And now this message has reawakened the need and sorrow in your spirit. That was the spiritual signal that your heart was prepared to receive what heaven was going to pour in. Do you recall how Oprah Winfrey frequently stated that there is no such thing as luck? There's simply preparation, meeting, and opportunity. What you're experiencing right now is precisely that heaven's opportunity. Meeting your preparations. All the nights you cried, all the prayers you muttered, and all the times you remained devoted despite the fact that it made no sense. They have all converged here. This is not a new favor. Favor has been waiting for you to align. This is a prophetic activation, not a motivating event. That indicates that something in your life is going to transition from dormant to dynamic. Your spirit is generating new ideas, new directions, and fresh clarity. You're switching from survival to assignment mode. This is the golden time to stop waiting and begin going. Isaiah 43:19 states, "See, I am doing something new now." It pops up. Do not perceive it. That new item isn't simply arriving. It has already begun. The transition is not ahead of you. It is currently beneath your feet, and recognizing it will need judgment. Don't reject anything that feels unusual. God frequently utilizes hardship to propel you toward your purpose. Allow me to ask you something else. What if the door that just opened in the spirit does not remain open indefinitely? Will you hesitate or move? Because the divine transaction is time sensitive. God has aroused your heart today because it is the allotted time. Do not put off what he is inviting you to accept. Think about Nelson Mandela. He spent decades in jail, training for a liberation he could not imagine. But when the occasion arose, he did not hesitate. He moved into leadership with divine clarity rather than animosity. That is what you're being groomed for. Leadership and legacy influence. And it begins with your obedience. This message is not only intended for your ears. It is reconstructing your future. God is altering the course of your life. You are no longer repeating old patterns. You are driven onward by spiritual momentum. This is what it means to be named, according to his. Romans 8:28 reminds us, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and have been called according to his purpose, despite delays, detours, and disappointments. Everything was employed as construction material for this moment of activation. Even one of our generation's most disciplined performers has openly stated that spiritual obedience and vision motivate all she does. Her success was due to more than just talent. It sprang from planning, discipline, and a feeling of divine timing. You too have been silently preparing. Now God is launching. So, do you really feel that what is going on right now is larger than you? That God is placing something in you that will overflow to others? Because it is the goal of this heavenly transmission. It is not only to bless you. Its purpose is to activate, equip, and send you to the chosen one. Your spirit has now aligned with God's perfect plan for your life. And once alignment occurs, acceleration begins. This isn't simply some spiritual jargon. It's a divine convergence when your preparedness meets God's timing. You are currently standing on hallowed ground in a moment that is far more significant than you can realize. You've waited, suffered, and trusted. And now God is urging you to completely embrace the promises. He talked about you long ago, but here is the reality. Divine instructions don't last forever. The opportunity for compliance is frequently brief. You, like the Israelites, are faced with a time-sensitive imperative. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us of everything. There is a season and a time for everything under the sky. This is the moment to move, not hesitate. Have you recently felt a sense of urgency in your heart that will not allow you to stay where you're spiritually, emotionally, or physically? That's not concern. It's heavenly. Prompting. God is moving the parts of your life into divine order. But he's waiting for your action to complete the transaction. Procrastination is the enemy of purpose. If you don't follow this advice right away, you could end yourself waiting for Favre to return for another season. Remember Jonah, when he was summoned to Nineveh, hesitation resulted in delay and danger. Only after Jonah obeyed did breakthrough occur. Likewise, what God is saying to your spirit right now is not optional. It is crucial. Delayed obedience is still considered disobedience. No matter how justified, the cost will always be higher than you expect. Think about someone like Serena Williams. Her alignment with purpose did not begin with celebrity. It started with discipline. When the opportunity for advancement presented itself, she seized it without hesitation. She moved, she prepared, she showed up, and as a result, she accomplished more than simply win. She dominated. Your triumph may not be in tennis, but the concept remains. What you do at the right time impacts what you will face later. Allow me to take you deeper. The advice you're receiving right now is personalized. It's been modified. It's God speaking precisely to the questions you've been asking. Your provision is buried inside that instruction. The next degree of serenity, clarity, and abundance are not out of grasp. It is on the other side of your obedience. According to Proverbs 16 verse 3, commit your plans to the Lord, and he will make them a reality. This isn't about striving. It's about giving into his approach. Have you ever considered how many discoveries were delayed because you waited too long? How many magnificent doors sat shut because you chose to walk away out of fear or indecision? This is a different moment. This moment bears an anointing that will not return again in the same form. This is not to terrify you. It is to awaken your spirit. God is communicating clearly, and you must respond immediately. Take Tyler Perry again before he became famous. He risked everything to stage plays that no one saw. But God spoke and he obeyed. He did not wait for ideal conditions. He moved with imperfect resources, and God handled the rest. Now, his name is linked with heritage. What if your faithfulness this week leads to a legacy? You haven't yet seen, understand this. Every second counts. Every step matters. Every action you make now will either get you closer to God's plan or postpone it. But this is the beauty of divine alignment. Once you're in it, God begins to accelerate what was previously stagnant. The people you meet, the favors you receive, and the tranquility you experience are all supernaturally orchestrated. According to Isaiah 30:21, whether you turn to the right or left, you will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way. Walk through it." You are entering a state of clarity. Right now, divine appointments are queuing up for you. Connection encompasses ideas, promotions, healing, and breakthroughs. But they all depend on one thing: faithfulness to this moment. It is not about being flawless. It is all about positioning. It is about pushing forward without understanding all of the details. But I trust the one who does. Think about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He did not wait for safety or unanimity. He moved because the Spirit moved him. That type of faith transformed the world. What if your alignment unlocks blessings not just for you, but also for future generations? According to 37:23, the Lord orders a decent man's ways and delights in them. That suggests your steps are not random. You're not lost. You are not roaming. You are carefully and purposefully positioned for something enormous. The chosen one. You are now in a situation where even the tiniest decisions hold supernatural weight. The environment surrounding you has transformed. Heaven is paying close attention because the decisions you make this season are creating your fate in real time. You're being invited to walk with a greater sense of spiritual awareness. Conversations that were ordinary will now be replete with heavenly clues. Actions that seemed random would show themselves as assignments. This is the point at when your aspirations, objectives, and innermost passions finally coincide with the heartbeat of God's plan for your life. Could you sense it? That inner calm before breakthrough. That unexpected clarity in regions where you previously felt lost. That's not a coincidence. This is confirmation. Proverbs 3 verse 6 indicates that if you submit to him in all your ways, he will straighten your path. And right now, your path is straightening, clarifying, and being illuminated by heavenly fire. You may have experienced delays. You may have branded previous seasons as squandered time or missed opportunities. But let me ask you a question. What if every delay was a setup rather than a setback? What if the pain you felt was not punishment, but rather a way of situating your perceived defeats as preparation for larger victories? Roberts, like Sarah Jakes, once stated, "Nothing is wasted. God will make use of every tear. He has every tear, every lonely night, every shuttered door. God will utilize them all to prepare you for this season of acceleration. The wait is ended. You're no longer moving in circles. The doors you formerly banged on in despair are now opening on divine order. This is not the time to hesitate. Is not the time to revisit old anxieties. Now is the moment to ascend without apologies. The dread that previously held you back has been replaced by clarity, and the uncertainty that once controlled your thoughts has been silenced by the voice of purpose. Isaiah 61 states, "Rise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." God has equipped you. You are not going into this new season empty-handed. Strength, wisdom, and elegance. You've already got it. Everything you need is already inside you. But now comes the test. Will you trust it? Will you move with it? Will you second-guess what heaven has already confirmed? Remember Tyler Perry? He obeyed God even if his bank account made no sense. When the crowd did not appear, he remained committed to the vision. And now the world is witnessing his loyalty grow into dominion. What if your legacy depends on a single act of obedience? This is not simply forward movement. It represents progressive progression in alignment. When we move in accordance with God's desire, favor follows. Favor is pouring down this season, but obedience is what will open it. According to Deuteronomy 28 verse 2, all of these benefits will come upon you and accompany you if you obey the Lord and your God. Favor is not determined at random. It is targeted. It recognizes your name, yet it is awakened by obedience. God's favor is not trickling down. It's raining, but he will not pour in a fist gripped with fear or resistance. Let me ask you plainly, are you prepared to accept his instructions even if they do not align with your plans? Because the more you yield, the more favor you will get. This is not about working for blessings. It is about entering into what has already been allocated to you and obeying. Things will alter. Relationships will be repaired. Closed doors can swing open. Connections will be established. Provision will arrive from unexpected areas. It will not be locked. It will be in harmony. God is moving heaven and earth to fulfill his promises. However, your consent is the last key. You will not return to your previous battle. That chapter is over. God is not recycling your anguish. He is rewriting your story according to Corinthians 5:17, which states that if anybody is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has passed. The new is here. You are walking towards calm, purpose, and provision. The old worldview, fear-driven decisions, the cycle of uncertainty are getting left behind. This new season is unlike anything you've seen before. It feels different because it is distinct. This is the season when your wounds turn into knowledge. Your conflicts become platforms. Your tears become testimony. And your untapped potential is now fully realized. Consider Viola Davis, a poor little girl who experienced insecurity and rejection. But as she faced her reality, discovered her identity, and accepted her talent, she became a force that the world could not ignore. You're walking into the same vibe. Your voice is increasing. Your abilities are emerging, and your impact is going to grow. The chosen one. This is your assigned time. God is releasing gifts that have been latent within of you. You might not even realize you have received these gifts. Creativity, leadership, prophetic insight, healing presence, teaching ability, deep compassion is all coming to life. And this awakening is not just for your benefit. It is for the people that God has called you to reach. According to Romans 11:29, God's gifts and call are irreversible. What he instilled in you is lasting. It is now being exposed. Do not shrink. Do not question your qualifications. If God called you, he has equipped you. You are not behind. You are not unprepared. You are on time. And the world is eager to see what God has placed within you. Let that gift rise. Let your voice be heard. Let your light shine. You're no longer waiting for the next event to occur. You're the next thing. God's move is happening through you. Your enlightenment will free others from their bonds. Your obedience will open doors for generations. Your tale will serve as a reminder to others that God wastes nothing. He redeemed everything. So I've chosen one. Inhale deeply. Walk bravely. Obey instantly. You are growing in purpose, favor, and fulfillment. This is your moment. This is your season. Nothing will be the same again. The chosen one. What you're witnessing right now is not the end of the message. It marks the beginning of its expression. In the next hours, God will start to confirm what your spirit already knows. This is more than simply encouragement. It's a heavenly plan. It's a celestial message wrapped in spiritual guidance. And when God speaks, he confirms. However, the confirmation may not come in the manner you expect. It may not be loud or spectacular. In fact, it might be so subtle that only a spiritually awake heart will see it. A casual chat, a vivid dream, or a coincidence that appears too perfect to be chance. A stranger who says the exact words you just read. Isaiah 55:11 reminds us, "So are the words that come from my mouth. It will not return to me empty-handed, but will fulfill my desires and serve the purpose for which I sent it." What God has said about your life will not be squandered. This will be confirmed. So, will you stay awake in the Spirit? Will you tune your heart to hear the heavenly whisper before it disappears into the din of your day? God's confirmation is not delayed. It's already in action behind the scenes. Heaven is organizing events that will leave you speechless. You won't need to force them. They'll come to you. Think about someone like Denzel Washington. He narrates the story of a woman in a beauty shop who predicted his destiny before he knew what it would become. That was no coincidence. God supplied confirmation to anchor his course. Similarly, your confirmation may come from unexpected sources, but when it does, your soul will recognize the echo of what God has already uttered. According to John 10:27, "My sheep hear my voice, I recognize them, and they follow me and the chosen one." You'll identify his voice when the signals arise. That email, that unexpected opportunity, that person phoning just when you're ready to give up, all remains sensitive. Don't shrug it off. Don't call it luck. Call it as it is. Divine orchestration. Let those affirmations boost your confidence. Now is not the time to second-guess yourself. As you begin to perceive the signals, now is the moment to act decisively. Allow them to anchor your spirit. You're not imagining it. You're not deluded. You are in agreement. And God is confirming this. One divine nudge at a time, and I've chosen one. There's one more instruction. Stop looking behind. Yes, it is normal to mourn what you have left behind. People, comfort zones, and the version of yourself that previously settled for less. But God is doing something fresh, and you can't move forward if your heart is trapped in yesterday. Philippians 3:13-14 informs us. Forgetting about the past and focusing on the future, I press on toward my goal. The objective lies ahead, not behind you. Ask yourself, what have I been afraid to let go of? What obsolete connection, habit, or belief am I still clinging to out of fear? The past may have influenced you, but it does not define you. Heartbreak, squandered opportunities, and delays. They do not represent your identity. They were simply instruments in God's hand for shaping your power. Look at Naomi Osaka at the pinnacle of her tennis career. She took a hiatus to focus on her mental health. Some described it as a setback, but what the world labeled a halt, God utilized for preparation. She came back stronger, more focused on her goal, and more conscious of her own value. Sometimes the best thing you can do is let go of the past in order to completely grasp the future. I say, a 43:18-19 says, forget the former things. Don't linger on the past. See, I'm trying something new now. It pops up. Do you not sense it? God is doing something fresh in your life. He is breaking old cycles, shutting old chapters, and opening doors no man can close. But you must quit looking in the rearview mirror while attempting to walk toward your destiny. You're being asked to go forward, not backwards. This is the season of release. Release your bitterness. Please release the questions. Release the urge for closure. Let go. The same God who got you through the past storm will walk with you into the new season. And the following season will be one of progress, satisfaction, elevation, and delight. Yes, joy. Real delight. The sort that is not based on circumstances, but rather on promise. Everything you thought you had lost will be restored in greater condition. Relationships will deepen. Opportunities will grow. Peace will be enriched. Doors will open for you not just because you are talented, but also because you are willing to obey. Some 8,411 guarantees us of nothing good. Will he withhold from those who walk properly? And, darling, have you walked faithfully? Now is the moment to move forward with confidence. So, here's your fee. Wait for the confirmations. Receive them. Let go of what no longer suits your future. Trust what God is doing, even if you don't comprehend it now. This is your spiritual transition point from the previous season to the current assignment, from waiting to traveling through uncertainty to destiny. And when you're tempted to turn back, realize that what lies ahead is greater. Always has been, always will be. Your sweetheart has chosen one. If you've gotten this far, if your heart is still burning, your spirit is shaking, your gaze remains locked on the words unfolding before you, then you aren't just one of many who answer the call. You are one of the very few that answered. This wasn't simply another message. This was a heavenly activation, a holy transaction, a summons to rise not only emotionally, but spiritually, prophetically, and eternally. There comes a point in every chosen one's life when they understand this is it. This is the point at which destiny ceases to be an abstract idea and begins to manifest itself in your new reality. This is the moment. God has not only called you, but He has also entrusted you with the weight of purpose. The mantle has been passed down. The oil had been spilled. A voice has spoken, and now you must move. You see, being called is an act of grace. However, being selected constitutes an act of agreement. Heaven sends an invitation, but it's yours. Yes, that seems like the covenant. This is why Matthew 22:14 states that many are called, but few are chosen, not because God withholds from the many, but because few are ready to walk the narrow route that being selected necessitates. So I ask you again, profoundly and honestly, will you stay in the shallows or go out into the deep? Will you cling to what is familiar? Will you trust the voice urging you to unknown obedience? Will you reply as chosen, bold, devoted, or surrendered? Because here's the truth. A supernatural change has already started. It is not arriving. It is not pending. It's occurring now. The signs will follow. Conversations will shift. Your dreams will become more intense. Clarity will arrive like lightning. Old stuff will fall off. New doors will swing open. And no, you are not imagining it. You are walking through prophesy. But let me address the tension. Yes, it's natural to feel drawn to the past, to regret what you're leaving behind, and to feel unqualified for what lies ahead. But I've chosen one. Listen, your future isn't behind you. What you're moving into is far larger than everything you had to leave behind. God never takes without restoring. He never subtracts without multiplying. Each defeat has been noted. Every tear has been tallied, and the whole amount is being returned. It's not only about your own advancement. This is regarding your heavenly duty. You were born for this exact moment. The world yearns for light bearers, truth tellers, and fighters of love and fire. And this is why God selected you. Yes, you with all your flaws, insecurities, concerns, and scars. He did not choose the faultless. He chose to win. He selected the loyal. He opted to surrender. Isaiah 41:10 states, "Fear not, for I am you. Do not be disappointed, for I am your God. I will strengthen and assist you. I will support you with my righteous right hand." You're not wandering alone. Heaven walks beside you. Angels go before you. Grace surrounds you like a shield. You're covered, anointed, sent. Before we conclude, I'd like to say something truly, and from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sticking to the end. Thank you for listening from your heart and not just your ears. You did not just ingest this message. You took part in it. Your spirit connected with God's voice. I honor you for that. If this word spoke directly to your spirit and you feel compelled to give back, you may do so by contributing via great thanks. Every gift, no matter how great or small, helps keep the sacred work continuing and guarantees that more chosen ones throughout the world get what you just experienced. But whether you choose to donate or not, please know that you are greatly cherished. Your presence is a gift. Your path is important, and God sees your obedience as we part ways for the time being. I leave you with a blessing. May your steps be divinely guided and your path become obvious. May your heart stay open to God's voice and courageous in your calling. May every delay be converted into an acceleration and every loss into a reward. May you walk with the authority of the chosen, the bravery of the anointed, and the surrendered. May your hands be strengthened, your voice awakened, and your life reflect the glory of the one who called you. Romans 8:18 states, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. That grandeur is growing within you right now. Don't run from it. Do not shrink beneath it. Stand within it. Radiate it. This is your time. This is your hour. This is where you have to decide. You're not just called. You were picked. If this message verified something profound within you, leave a comment below. I accept it completely. Like, share, and subscribe to help awaken another chosen soul who needs this message. You're not alone. We're rising together, and I can't wait to see what heaven accomplishes next through you. Until then, walk confidently, obey swiftly, love profoundly, shine without apologies. Remember that what is ahead is bigger. Always has been, always will be. Amen.